Welcome to another edition of A Week of Mass Shootings. There were 13 mass shootings reported from October 16th through October 22nd, and these are fairly typical numbers. 5 suspects were arrested and 1 was killed, and the 5 suspects that were arrested were mostly all from the same incident, so it's not like most of the mass shootings had an arrest. They were all mostly from the same incident. All right, we start on October 16th in Severn, Maryland, where 4 were injured. And this is the first one that Severn has had this year. And it happened at Orchard Food Markets. And all the victims were males aged between 20 and 27. Happened around 8:40 p.m. And basically these guys were standing outside the store when they were shot, and then they ran inside the convenience store. Also on October 16th in Los Angeles, California, 3 were killed and 1 injured, and this was the 8th one for Los Angeles this year. And if you saw my video that posted yesterday on the weekend's shootings, Los Angeles is starting to get out of control. It wasn't ever really like super safe, but it wasn't bad like it's seeming to be lately. And in this one, it happened at Ernie's Mexican restaurant. They were all the victims were adult males. This was a drive-by, a car-to-car drive-by, and they're calling it gang-related. And there were 3 to 4 suspects in a car that opened fire on another car that had at least 4 people in it. And that happened around 9:30 p.m. So far, both of them have happened, 8, 9 p.m. On October 17th in Augusta, Georgia, 4 were injured. And this is the second one for Augusta this year. And it happened at Paul's IGA, and it was a drive-by around 6 p.m. On October 18th in Columbus, Ohio, 4 were injured. And this is a third one for Columbus this year. The suspect in this one was arrested. There were 3 adults and 1 juvenile that were injured. And it was basically a street fight that turned into a shootout. And that happened around 5 p.m. October 19th in Toppenish, Washington, 3 were killed and 1 injured. And this was the first one for Toppenish this year. 2 male victims and 2 female victims, and they were all aged between 13 and 21. A 19-year-old suspect was killed in this one, and that's because he took his own life. And this one happened on the Yakama Indian Reservation. On October 20th in Lincoln, Nebraska, 4 were injured, and this is the first one for Lincoln this year. Happened at 12:45 a.m., and all of the victims had non-life-threatening injuries. On October 21st in Oakley, California, 1 was killed and 3 were injured, and this is the first one for Oakley this year. And it happened around 11:12 p.m., and it was all high schoolers at a house party, and a 16-year-old was killed. On October 21st in Fayettesville, North Carolina, 1 was killed and 3 injured, and this is the 4th one for Fayettesville this year. 31-year-old Emmanuel lashon Smith was killed. Happened at 9:30 p.m. at the Smith Recreation Center parking lot, and there was just a big crowd gathered in a parking lot, and somebody opened fire on them. And that's a common way of getting shot. Is if you're in the wrong neighborhood, standing in a parking lot with a whole bunch of people, you become a magnet for these guys who just want to shoot up the places. Okay, also on October 21st in College Station, Texas, 4 were injured, and this is the first one for College Station this year. And it happened at the Night Club, spelt K-N-I-G-H-T, this bar. It happened in the parking lot. Around 1:14 a.m., the cops were called to the bar for a criminal trespass report. And then at 1:38, officers heard shots from the south side of the parking lot and found 4 people had been injured. So the cops were already on site, and they hear the gunshots that are just on the other side of the parking lot from where they were. Okay, again on October 21st in Borger, Texas, 1 was killed and 3 were injured, and this is the first one for Borger this year. And it happened at the Jalisco Grill and Cantina. And a 25-year-old Jose Alvarez was killed, and the 3 injured were aged between 31 and 49. And the suspect was arrested in this one. He was 25 years old. His name was Seth Prius, And this one happened at 9:30 p.m. And basically, it just was a bunch of people got in a fight and it turned into a shootout. On October 22nd in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, one was killed and 3 injured. And this is a 4th one for Pine Bluff this year at the Alukab Super Stop. And 23-year-old Vincent Peel was killed. And all of the victims were males aged 22 to 40. And there were 4 suspects, all male, and they were all arrested aged 21 to 29. And basically, these guys just fired their guns at this gas station. It happened at 12:45 a.m. And there was a large crowd, again, just standing in the parking lot when they shot. The suspects fled, and police chased them down and arrested them. On October 22nd, again, in Meridian, Mississippi, 1 was killed and 3 were injured. And this is the first one for Meridian this year. And it happened at the Legends Bistro and Lounge. And basically a large crowd again was standing outside when the shooting happened, and they all ran inside the building at that point. They're saying it's probably gang related, and it happened just after midnight. And you can see already just how many of these are people just standing in big crowds in parking lots. Now, I don't know why a big crowd was, at this bistro and lounge, or why a big crowd was at that gas station, but if you're in a bad area, don't stand anywhere where there's a huge crowd. Okay, and the last one is on October 22nd as well. Alexandria, Louisiana, 4 were injured. And this is the 3rd one for Alexandria this year. And the suspect was 42-year-old Ladarius T. Taylor. It happened at 6:41 p.m. And he was not arrested, but he's still wanted by the police. As of this is Monday, October 23rd in the evening that I'm making this video. So as of Monday night, the day after this event happened, he had not been arrested yet. And they're offering a cash reward. So if you know who this dude is and you want to turn him in, there is a cash reward if you can help the police catch him. This is a weekly video. So if you like this type of content, hit that like button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and consider subscribing. And I'll catch you next week.